Yo guys, my name's GhostX and today I've got another Battlefield 4 video, and this is another weapon guide episode. And so far we have got to the AUG A3 on the assault rifles weapon category. So we are starting with the assault rifles, and if you've missed any of the other episodes I suggest you watch them first. I think this is episode 8 now. And the AUG A3 is a bullpup Austrian assault rifle developed by Steyr in obviously Austria. So this weapon is very nice. I do like this weapon. The last episode I did was on the FAMAS, and compared to that weapon, visually they're similar-ish, purely because they're both bullpup designs, but they have got some similar aesthetics, but performance-wise they're completely different. They very differ from each other. The AUG A3 is much more accurate. The recoil is much lower, but also is the rate of fire, but the rate of fire isn't that slow. Even for a bullpup, it's not that slow. It is quite a high rate of fire, but it's nowhere near that of the FAMAS. So the FAMAS will probably will almost definitely outgun you in close range with this weapon. But this weapon has definitely got less recoil, which means you can hit targets at further range and is much more accurate. You'll actually see in this gameplay that I take out enemies from quite a distance, from especially the Sunken Dragon restaurant in this map, on the Dragon's Teeth maps. This weapon does play a really good role on the Dragon's Teeth maps because of its low recoil and moderate high rate of fire, which makes it a definite contender for these new Dragon's Teeth maps, especially on this map, Sunken Dragon, because you can get, as you see here, I get quite a few hit markers at longer ranges than you usually would be able to with a bullpup assault rifle, so it is very good in that sense. Now, the attachments I got on here to try and complement this weapon is the one-time zoom holographic sight. This is the American version. It's very useful for this weapon because the standard iron sights on this weapon are quite constrictive. They're not ideal. You do really want to be switching them out for a sight. It doesn't really matter whether it's a reflex or a hollow sight, and it doesn't really matter the manufacturer of that sight, as you do get the 3 variants. There's always a American, a Russian and a Chinese variant of each sight or scope. However, I would recommend not using a scope on this weapon. I disadvise that on most assault rifles, carbines and SMGs, or PDWs as they're known, because they do increase visual recoil because you are zooming into your target more, and therefore the recoil seems more than it actually is, which is unnecessary really. You don't need to see that far with this weapon. It will hit targets out further range, but you shouldn't really be shooting out there anyway. You can see here, literally right by here, I'm getting hit markers at extreme range for this weapon, which is really good, but you don't really want to be putting a scope on there because it will maximize the visual recoil, which can be a big problem, especially on this weapon. You don't want to ruin it, so I definitely recommend the holographic sight. Any of them, it doesn't really matter. I prefer this one in particular, just purely because the aesthetics and the ballistic reticle suits my needs more than the other reticles of the other holographic sights. Also, I have a angled foregrip on here. Now, the foregrips do differ slightly in stats and what the actual effect of it is. I'm not 100% sure what the angle grip actually does, but they all are based on reducing the recoil and stabilizing the weapon for more accurate shots. And I find the angle grip just suits my personality more. I like the aesthetic of it, and it suits this weapon definitely. It seems to suit bullpup weapons very well, the angled foregrip. It kind of blends in with the weapon, so it looks very nice on here, and it does the job. It stabilizes the gun, so you can reduce that low recoil even further to make sure this weapon is super accurate, which is definitely complementing it very well. But those are the only 2 attachments I got on here. I highly disadvise using the heavy barrel because that kind of just maximizes recoil. And if you did a heavy barrel plus scope combination, you've effectively ruined the weapon. That will ruin performance, so try not to do that. I would just advise staying away from the scopes and the heavy barrels with this weapon and keep it simple. So yeah, that is my basic overview of the AUG A3. It is a very nice weapon and also a very modern weapon in the real world as well. Used by a lot of special forces and armies around the world, and I very much do like this weapon on every game it's in, especially this game. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you on my next video. GhostX out.